The winter storm that caused such havoc in the southern and midwestern United States, moving on, in fact, up to us. But let's look at some of what is left behind. At least 15 people have died in accidents on icy roads in the U.S. Millions of Americans are without power this morning. Now, most of those outages are in Texas. National Guard officers going, look at that, sliding sideways right down that hill. Door to door, they're going to check on people. Parts of the state recorded a record-breaking cold yesterday. In Houston, you see people wrapped up, sweaters, toques, whatever they can wear to keep warm. As we take a quick live look at Houston this morning, you can still see some of the snow on the sides of the highways there and on the rooftops. The deep freeze expected to continue through the week before conditions ease up on the weekend. And that weather is having a major impact on vaccine rollout in a number of states. Our senior Washington editor, Lindsay Duncombe, is bringing us that story this morning. Lindsay, good to see you. Certainly, we're hearing that vaccination appointments are being delayed as a result of the weather. What's the latest?
Well, one of the big problems, especially in Texas, as you mentioned, Heather, is all of those power outages. Because remember, these vaccines, the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine, need to be kept in these ultra cold refrigerators, and refrigerators need power. So yesterday in Harris County, Texas, there was a big problem with Moderna vaccines because the fridges weren't working. So health officials there had to go through a huge rush to try to find people who could be vaccinated. They needed to find places where there were large groups of people relatively close to each other and healthcare professionals that could administer the vaccine before it warmed up. So they had these makeshift vaccination programs happening in hospitals, in a jail, and also at Rice University. You can see on social media, there's videos of these young people rushing to get into line to get vaccinated well ahead of where they would normally be on the priority list, because these health officials wanted to make sure that they could use the vaccine. Here's what some of the students said.
I'm 21, so I'm not even in the risk category. So I just feel very lucky that Rice is able to do this, and I feel good that I'm going to be safer for everyone around me.
And it's not just the power problems. There's also a real safety concern here, because take a place like Missouri. Some of those places do not necessarily have the infrastructure to be able to deal with the amount of snow that is coming. So as a result, in order to keep people off the roads, in order so that people won't have to stand outside in the cold waiting for their vaccination, in Missouri, those clinics have been closed. The similar situation in places such as Alabama and Kentucky. Here's what the governor of Kentucky had to say at an emergency briefing yesterday.
There's simply going to be too much snow. We won't have our roads in the conditions we need to make that safe for those coming to vaccinate others. Everybody who has an appointment will be moved to next Tuesday, 1 week, same time, same place. We will get you through.
It's not just the places, Heather, that are immediately affected, because, of course, how do vaccines get to where they need to go? On planes. What has the storm done to transportation? There are delays and cancellations there, too.
So is this going to have an effect on the overall vaccination rate, Lindsay?
In the short term, yes, but not necessarily in the long term. Once these different health officials are able to get people back into their appointments. We know that the United States has had more than 52 million doses been administered since the beginning of the rollout of the program back in December. That is 11.5% of the population with at least one dose of the vaccines.
Lindsay, thank you very much. Our senior Washington editor.